Kathy Hallward. I'm a Senior Sales Director with Mary Kay, and at the time of this recording, it is May 2015. And never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that I would be in Mary Kay for 23 years. You see, I started in May of 1992, and I'll get to more of that in a little bit. But first of all, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being willing to listen. Thank you for giving us 10 to 15 minutes of your time, because you see, we don't advertise for team members. So the consultant who sent you to this link obviously thinks very, very highly of you. We get to hand select the people that we want to listen to what we have to offer. So thank you for that. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story. Then I'm going to tell you some of the most compelling reasons why people begin a Mary Kay journey, and then give you 3 or 4 different options that you might want to try if you decide to join our company. So I just want you to sit back, relax, and just listen for the next few minutes. Like I said, I started my business in May of 1992, and never in my wildest dreams did I ever think I would be in Mary Kay. I have a degree in elementary education and early childhood, and I could have very easily gone back to teaching school. However, what you don't know is that my husband was a naval officer, and at this time that I was even pondering this, we were stationed in Newport, Rhode Island. We had moved 14 times in 20 years by that time. Our children were then 10 and 13, and they weren't needing me quite as much. But I still wanted to be the one that they walked home to every single day. I wanted to be the one that carpooled them everywhere and got to hear about their day, rather than them going to a friend's house. So, at that point, I turned one of those ages, and I had tried everything on the market. I mean, I even ordered stuff off of the television. And nothing was working. My skin was like a chemical experiment run amok. And at that time, our daughter Heather, who is the 13-year-old, her best friend's mama was in Mary Kay. And I thought, well, what have I got to lose? I've tried everything else. So I picked up the phone, called Yvonne, and said, hey girl, you've got to tell me this stuff has changed. Because you see, I had tried it when I was like 20 years ago of that time, and it didn't feel right to me. And so, you know, you walk around with a preconceived notion of what you think things are and that they never change. Well, I didn't know what I didn't know. And Yvonne said, absolutely, this is an amazing product. Get yourself over here. So I did. I went over and we had a facial, which is just a one-on-one, you know, she and I sitting across the table playing in makeup. Well, what happened was I absolutely loved the way my face felt. And I bought it, all of it, and went home and kept using it and kept using it. And about 10 days later, my husband, we were sitting at dinner, and he just looked at me and he says, have you done something different to your face? And I said, good different or bad different? And he said, whatever you are doing, keep it up. And I went, oh, cool. Because you see, I saw a difference in my skin, but I didn't know anybody else did. And basically that just gave me the green light to continue going over to Yvonne's house and buying more makeup. Heather, remember, was a 13-year-old, and she was going to begin to start wanting to wear makeup. And so I thought, you know, after a while, I woke up and realized that Yvonne was not paying the same thing for this that I was, and I thought, worst case scenario, let's just see what we've got here. So at that point, I simply started asking Yvonne some questions, and some of the things that really appealed to me were keeping your faith and family first, and then your career. You have complete and total flexibility of what you want to do with this, and we have no territories and we have no quotas. Those things really appealed to me because you see, at this point, it was only about 6 weeks before we were moving from Newport, Rhode Island to Indianapolis, where I did not know a single solitary soul. And I thought, well, if I'm going to give this a whirl, I might as well try it with people that I know. So I said yes, and I began playing with my girlfriends right there in Newport. And lo and behold, they loved this product just as much as I did. And they were actually paying me money for it. And before I knew it, all the products that I had ordered were gone, and I needed to order more. Well, all that did was give me courage to take it to Indianapolis, where I did not know anyone. And so I had been a good student. I suited up, I showed up, I got my training, began to know what I was doing, and little by little by little here in Indianapolis, I began to meet some incredible, wonderful women. And little by little by little, my business began to grow. And before I know it, a year after we moved here, we had earned our very first company car. And then 4 months later, I'd become a sales director. And honestly, I had no idea that any of that was packed inside of the starter kit, much less packed inside of me. Because I think bottom line is one of the biggest gifts I've been given is the ability to dig deep and untie the ribbons of the gifts that God has given me and begin to use them. So that was 23 years ago. And I still absolutely love what I do. Now I feel like I still love selling the product, but I feel like my biggest gift is to build up other women and to begin to lead leaders, to begin to be a leader of other leaders and to help them discover their gifts and talents and untie those ribbons and begin to use them. And who would have thought that this vehicle called Mary Kay Cosmetics could pull out so much positivity, and self-esteem. So that was 23 years ago. Now I'd like to give you a little bit of insight as to why so many people are saying yes to Mary Kay. The first is money. Let's face it, I haven't met anybody who's too cashed up. Money has been able to provide our family choices. You see, 23 years ago, the kids were still in junior high and entering in high school, and I still needed to be able to weave my business in, around, amongst, and through. Well, through their journey, I have been able to provide a Cinderella wedding for Heather, who was then 13 when I started, 2 college educations, a portion of our home, and now that they're married and grown and have kids of their own, to be able to have the complete flexibility to be able to go and be Mimi when I want to. Still working from home, still earning an executive income, having all the flexibility and fun available to me. So I am so grateful for that. Another thing about money is money does buy you choices. And so I'm going to tell you just a little story. It might be a little sad, but it's okay. About a year and a half ago, my mother passed away unexpectedly. And so obviously I was not holding parties or facials or anything like that for about 2 months. But because I had built a good relationship with my customers and with the women in my organization, and because this product is consumable, my business was able to carry me through a pretty dark time. And so anything you want to consider selling, make sure it's consumable, because my customers were still using up product. My unit members and their customers were still using up product. And so my business carried me through that when I wasn't able to work. But then, you catch your breath and you begin to pick it up again. So I was very, very grateful for that residual income. Another thing about the money is we earn the highest direct sales commission in the country. There are more women earning between $50,000 and $100,000 in Mary Kay than any other company in the country. Really? Who would have thought? But it is an amazing company. We are a $4 billion company at the time of this recording, and we're in more than 37 countries around the world. We have reached and touched lives all over the place. And little did Mary Kay know back in 1963 that she would get outside of Dallas, Texas, much less around the world. So I'm very, very grateful for that. We make our money in a lot of different ways. We hold parties, which is 3 or 4 girls playing in makeup. We hold facials, 1 or 2 girls sitting around the table playing in makeup, which is what I did with Levon. We have on-the-go sales, which are so much fun. You put all the fun new things in a basket and you just go around to your customers and have show and tell. We also do it online. Wonderful, wonderful websites that the company maintains for us that are great tools for you to use. And on paper, we've got a wonderful lookbook that is sent out once a quarter that is like a beauty magazine, and it's basically shows your customers all of the fun, fabulous new things that they can order directly from you. So that's one aspect of earning money, is selling the product. The other aspect is building a team. So I want you to think of this as 2 birds needing, a bird needing 2 wings to fly. And in that, you've got selling the product, which a lot of women just absolutely love to do, and that's what they're happy doing. But if you really want to take off and earn an executive income, maybe you've got that giant inside screaming to get out and you want more, then you're going to be selling the product and building a team. And directly from Mary Kay's half of the dollar, she's going to give you team building commissions that could be $10, $15, $20 a month, or it could be tens of thousands of dollars a month. It just depends on what you are doing with it. So it is great money right up front, easy, fun cash flow. It is a phenomenal residual income, and you're building wonderful positive relationships with your customers. And from your customer base and other people that you know, you could be building a team as well. So that's our money. The next reason people come into our company is for recognition. Now, let me tell you, I had no idea that I was prize motivated when I first started in Mary Kay, but I saw the fun and the prizes that could be won, not only on a weekly basis from your local director, but also on a national basis. I began to see things like diamond tennis bracelets and diamond rings and fun things that on a naval officer's salary you really weren't going to be able to take advantage of. So, because I was working my business consistently, those prizes had started coming. And it's really fun when you end up having more cash flow and more things coming your way. You grow in confidence and self-esteem. And that's the other benefit that comes from Mary Kay, is the self-esteem. How many times do you walk into your office and they stand up and give you a round of applause? Probably not very often, right? Well, in Mary Kay, we are constantly supporting each other and constantly encouraging women to stretch, and we are recognizing them and applauding them for the personal growth that they are achieving every single step of the way. That's one of the biggest intangibles that has come from my business, is I am certainly not the same person that I was when I started 23 years ago as I am now. I feel like I am a far more confident woman who can stand on her own 2 feet but still be the person that I need to be. But I am truly amazed at how wonderful the self-esteem part of this business has come to fruition. I truly feel like my calling now is to be leading other women to their leadership positions, and as we all go together, we all grow together. It's really a lot of fun. Another benefit that you might have heard about are the cars. Oh my gosh. Now, inside this fabulous starter kit, I had no clue that there would be 12 free cars. So in 25 years, we've had 12 free cars. The very first one we earned was a Grand Am, and I was so thrilled to get it. But at that point, we had 3 cars. We certainly didn't need another car, but our children were getting ready to go to college. And that was the very same month that my husband retired from the Navy. So basically, his pay was cut in half, but because we had earned our very first car, mine was beginning to take off. And so I was able to relieve a lot of the bills and the pressure from him because of my income. Here's one in particular that happened. Because Mary Kay gives you choices with your cars, I opted to take the cash for the very first car that we earned, and that was $350 a month. Well, guess what? We had the children enrolled in the Florida Prepaid College Program, which at that time, the tuition was $349 a month. Guess which bill I took off of his shoulders? Because we opted to take the cash for the very first car. And so I was able to write that check every single month. So by the time the kids went to college, it was completely and totally paid for, thanks to Mary Kay. I had no idea when I said yes to Levon that many years ago that was going to be tucked inside my starter kit. But then, after that, we decided to start taking the cars, and there is nothing more fun than to be able to go into the dealership, to have that phone call from the dealership, says, Kathy, your car is here. When do you want to come get it? Like, now. So you drive over there, you literally are ushered into an absolutely gorgeous showroom, and you sign in 3 places, and you drive away with a totally cream puff car. Now, you have to continue doing what you did to earn it, to keep it, But, you know, it's a lease car, so by the time the floor mats are getting dirty, it's time to earn a new one anyway. And so you're constantly moving forward and constantly growing and earning new cars. Like I say, that was 12 cars ago. 6 of them have been that absolutely gorgeous pink Cadillac. The another option that Mary Kay has for you with the car program is not only do you get to have a free car or the cash, you have a lot of different cars you can earn. The very first one is a Chevy Cruze. Red lipstick hot Chevy Cruze, adorable car for consultants. For sales directors, once you promote yourself into the sales director position, you can earn a Toyota Camry, an Equinox. Right now, as I'm sharing this with you, we have a black BMW program, which is phenomenal. Or you can earn the mother of all vehicles, which is that pink Cadillac. And each step along the way, you can take either $375 a month, $500 a month, or $900 a month, and do choices for your own family that work best for you. So you've got lots of options. The next advantage that we have with Mary Kay are tax advantages, and I had no tax advantages as a naval officer's wife. We didn't. We had lived in government housing all the time. We had no home that we owned. There were no deductions. And so that was one of the big perks that my husband really, really wrapped his brain around, were the incredible tax breaks that we get. Because owning your own business, working from your home, you now get to capture all kinds of things that you normally wouldn't get to, we're normally spending money on, but we wouldn't normally get to capture. For example, mileage, a portion of the square footage of your home, your cell phone service, your internet, your utilities, a portion of your utilities, etc., etc., and it adds up. So I like to think of April 15th as a very happy day for my husband, and also as a wonderful, wonderful hidden source of income. And then the last thing that women love about this business and are drawn to this business is the fact that you get to be your own boss. If your kids are sick, you don't have to ask anybody permission to take off and go be where you need to be. During the time when my mother passed away, I didn't have to ask anybody permission because I had built and I had worked when I could. My business took care of me when I couldn't actually physically pay attention to it. So being your own boss and having that flexibility is a wonderful, wonderful perk. And all the while, you get to work based on the golden rule, and you get to work based on keeping your faith and your family first, and then your career. So how many hours a week you work is completely up to you. When you want a vacation is up to you. You just work it when you can, plan it all, and it will begin to take care of yourself. So all of this comes packed inside the starter kit. Now, the starter kit is the deal of the day. Let me just tell you, it is only $100. It was only $100 when I started 23 years ago. And now it has $450 worth of full-size retail makeup and things to teach and train yourself. Not only that, but you would have me as your teacher and your mentor and your business coach and your guide. But you also have Mary Kay Cosmetics. They have a whole website designed just for consultants that if you are a night owl and you want to start learning at 2 a.m., you can. It is all there available for you at your fingertips. So to me, it just made sense that I took advantage of that starter kit and began to get my own products at cost. But I didn't have any idea what else was tucked inside of there. So let me just give you 3 different options that you might consider. Okay, if this is something that you really would enjoy doing, then there are 3 choices on how you can work your business. The first is a hobby consultant, and honestly, that's what I thought I was doing when I very first started my business. By that I mean you are getting the incredible discount that we offer. You are also servicing a few friends and family and coming to fun events and to meetings and just plugging in and being part of our amazing culture. That's one option, but yet you've still got a plan B in place just in case you need it. Another option for you might be part-time. And part-time is in Mary Kay maybe 3 or 4 appointments a month, okay? Maybe working 10 hours a month. Once again, servicing yourself and your family and friends who are paying retail for it, so you're making a little money as you're selling the product, but you're also more intentional about building a little bit larger customer base, because you never know when life is going to hand you an option where you need a plan B. I didn't realize that my husband was going to be retiring as soon as he was. And because of that, I had worked my Mary Kay business. We had gotten it to the place where we had earned our first car. And this became an amazing plan B that I began to see more and more and more as something that I could grow into, and it would be there during all the phases of my life. So that's another option. And the third option is more of a full-time consultant. And this is what it grew into for me. I started out just wanting to get the discount for myself and my daughter and family members. Then it became part-time because I was meeting more people and I was having fun and loving what I was doing and sharing this product and sharing the opportunity. And then it turned into full-time just because I was loving what I was doing. Let me define full-time for you. That could be someone who realizes they have got a giant inside screaming to get out, that you need more options, more choices, more money. You are worth far more than your job is paying you. So at this point, you are probably working 10 to 15 hours a week. You are in the process of building a significant customer base, and you are also in the process of earning your first car and promoting yourself into the directorship position. And all of those are choices that you make along the way when you feel you are ready to run. And so that's what I did about a year and a half after I said yes to Mary Kay, way up in Newport, Rhode Island. Moving to Indianapolis, we became a unit. I became a sales director, and at that point just saw the vision, caught the vision of helping other women to discover all the gifts and talents that God has put inside of them and helping them to become the leader that they want to be. All of that comes inside of your starter kit. It's $100 plus tax and shipping. But what's really cool is I'm going to take you by the hand every single step of the way. We're going to have a business planning strategy that lasts about an hour that will help me determine and you determine what you want to do and what you don't want to do. And we will absolutely work together to coach you to get where you want to go. So now I just want to ask you to really, really, really think about what it is that God is nudging you to do. Do you have that giant inside that's calling for more? Do you have the opportunity in front of you for your 5-year dream plan, for your 10-year dream plan? Do you have something in place that is going to allow you to get where you want to go? If not, then maybe Mary Kay is something that is tailor-made for you. If that's the case, or even if it isn't the case, I want to take just a minute to say thank you again for listening to what we have to offer and for being willing to fill out the little survey that's listed in this link that would tell us what impressed you the most. Maybe you learned something new, or maybe something really hit you that you're thinking, this is something I really want to do. Whatever you want to do is fine. I also want you to know that you will be entered into a drawing for $100 in Mary Kay products just for answering this little survey. So thank you again for taking your time to listen. Thank you again for taking time to fill out the survey. And thank you for listening with an open mind and heart. I really appreciate you.